Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Education for Battle Creek Public Schools. Today is Monday, February 23rd, 2026. It is 5:30 p.m. I am now calling this meeting to order. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Kate Flores. Here. Ryan Hoagland Jackson. Here. Art McCooney. Dr. Alicia Johnson. Here. Nathan Grichik. Here. Dr. Nicole Perry. Present. Kylie Fulbright. Here.
As a reminder, tonight's meeting is being interpreted into Spanish thanks to our partners from BCPS Battle Creek. To listen in Spanish, please refer to the description on our YouTube live stream for the link. To our board members and other speakers, please remember to speak clearly and not too quickly so that our interpreters are able to keep up. I will now entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda, consideration for additions and deletions.
President Fulbright?
Yes, Trustee Perry?
I move to adjust the agenda to switch the order of reports and recommendations and discussion. So making reports and recommendation the new number 7, discussion the new number 8.
Any support? It's been moved by Trustee Perry, supported by Trustee Flores. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed say no. Motion passes. At BCPS, the Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the community to express themselves on district matters. We have 2 opportunities tonight on the agenda for public comment. The Board of Education requests that you fill out a public participation form with contact information. As you come to the microphone, please state your name. Each statement made by a speaker shall be limited to a 3-minute duration, and if the speaker represents a group, the person will be given 5 minutes to speak. BCPS Board of Education will listen, take comments and questions under advisement, and not respond at this time. Public commenters will direct all comments to the Board of Education and not to staff or other participants. Do we have any public comments? No. Thank you. Moving on, I will entertain a motion for the consideration and approval of the consent agenda items.
Mr. Holbert,
Yes, Trustee Grajek?
I move that we approve the agenda items as presented.
Support.
It's been moved by Trustee Grajek, supported by Trustee Perry. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes. Yes. All opposed say no. Motion passes. Moving on to 5, student recognition. Dr. Carter.
Yeah, so I am pleased to recognize some amazing student athletes tonight. And who do we have in the audience that will be supporting these recognitions? There he is. Coach Granger, would you like to come up and talk about each student, or would you like me to read the presentation?
I would be more than happy to talk about them, but I also would like you to read. So which would you like to do first?
Can you do bottom up? Sorry? Can you do bottom up for the students? I'm missing one.
We are missing one.
All right, I will read the recommendation. Damani?
Yep, he's here.
All right. Damani, it is my pleasure to recognize Damani for his outstanding leadership and impact on our basketball program. Damani has grown into a true leader on his team, despite being one of the youngest players on the roster. As a starter, he has taken on the role of floor general, directing his teammates, keeping everyone organized, and helping the team navigate challenges with a calm and steady presence. His composure under pressure and consistent effort have made him someone his teammates rely on. While his performance on the court is impressive, what stands out even more is his humility. Damani understands that leadership is not about personal recognition, but about lifting others. He makes the players around him better. He leads through encouragement, accountability, and example. He is already demonstrating the qualities of a future team captain: poise, character, and a team-first mindset. Damani represents the very best of what we hope to see in our student athletes: skill matched with integrity and talent grounded in humility. Please join me in congratulating Damani Spraggins, thank you, for his leadership, character, and the positive influence he brings to his team and to Battle Creek Public Schools. Damani, please join
You doing this side? Are you doing that right?
Yeah, let's do this side.
Okay,
We'll
no,
take a pic-
gotta take a picture. We'll have you in the middle. How's that, Coach? There we go.
Thank you.
Congratulations. So next up, and then we'll have Coach just tell us what he thinks about our awesome athletes. Tatiana Johnson. Did I say that correctly?
I don't see Tatiana.
Okay, so we'll make sure we recognize her.
On the way.
Okay.
We can do whatever it takes.
Recognize that Akira?
Akira's on the way.
All right. Coach, do you want to add anything about Damani?
I would just add that it's really, we talked about a lot about basketball in his award, but I just want to add he's a multi-sport athlete, not just a basketball player. I'm actually his football coach too. I got to know him through football, and he plays quarterback on our JV team, and hopefully someday on our varsity team too. So other than that though, great summary, because I'm really excited to have Damani, not just as an athlete, but as a student in our school, because he's just the kind of guy that kids need to be friends with. So congratulations. Keep up the good work. So maybe next item, and then we can come back.
Yep. We'll move on to whatever it takes, if it's okay. Yep. All right. Once again, we come to a part in our agenda and our meetings where we are able to recognize exceptional staff members who continue to go above and beyond. And tonight we get to celebrate them with the Whatever It Takes Award. I want to begin with an individual who has done amazing work in Battle Creek Public Schools. This individual exemplifies courageous, compassionate, and student-centered leadership. He consistently challenges the status quo, understanding that best practice is not always traditional practice. He leads with innovation, adaptability, and a willingness to reflect and grow, always asking what is best for students. As one teacher shared, everything we do revolves around students. He will strive to make changes if something does not benefit them. Despite the constant demands of leading a high school, Tyler ensures every student and staff member feels seen, heard, and valued. Colleagues consistently describe his calm presence, open door policy, and ability to give his full attention even when managing countless responsibilities. His leadership has created a true family dynamic at Central where trust and unity are strong. At the core of his leadership is empowerment. He listens deeply, values diverse perspectives, and encourages reflection and professional growth. He uses data intentionally to drive improvement, communicates transparently about the why behind initiatives, and celebrates growth, both big and small. Through innovative, career-focused initiatives, he ensures students are prepared not only academically, but for life beyond high school. As someone who lives, works, and raises his family in this community, Tyler's commitment runs deep. He doesn't just serve this district, he is a part of it. Simply put, Tyler Gillen embodies what it means to do whatever it takes. His leadership has strengthened school culture, inspired growth, and elevated student success. Please join me in honoring Mr. Tyler Gillen for his unwavering dedication and exceptional leadership.
take a picture too.
You know, you whisper it like, I don't like all the attention. Well deserved. And we continue with our staff celebrations, and then we'll go back to our student celebration. Our next individual is a teacher who goes above and beyond. Every day, she does all that she can to connect with her students as individuals. She intentionally learns their interests, builds authentic relationships, and creates meaningful opportunities that make learning personal and engaging. She also supports her colleagues at Fremont, continues her own professional growth, and actively integrates what she learned, such as through her participation in the Black Boys and Men Symposium to increase engagement and support for all students. Mrs. Malone speaks openly and honestly with her students about her own experiences, modeling reflection, resilience, and pride in identity. Her transparency and passion inspire both students and fellow educators, and her leadership reflects a deep commitment to equity and belonging. The impact of her work is powerful. One parent shared that after just 1 month in Mrs. Malone's classroom, their child who previously struggled to feel confident and connected at school now looks forward to attending every day. His reading scores have increased, his classroom participation has grown, and his sense of belonging has strengthened significantly. That kind of transformation speaks volumes. Mrs. Malone models personal wellness, growth, and high expectations for both students and staff. Her excellence is a testament to what happens when a teacher shows up consistently, passionately, and wholeheartedly for children. We are incredibly fortunate to have Mrs. Willandra Macklin Malone as a Bearcat educator. She truly embodies the spirit of whatever it takes. Congratulations.
How pretty. Hold on, let me pose.
Thank you.
Next up, we do have another individual on the docket, but she is unable to attend, so we will recognize her at our next meeting. And so, it is my deep honor to recognize Mrs. Keshana Taylor. Secretary at Fremont International Academy, and is today a Whatever It Takes Award recipient. Keshana consistently goes above and beyond for everyone in her building, students, staff, families, and support personnel alike. She does far more than manage the front office. She holds the entire system together. Her ability to balance daily responsibilities while ensuring that every person feels supported is truly remarkable. Keshana is more than a secretary. She is Mrs. Oliver's right hand and a steady presence for the entire school community. She steps in when students need additional support, ensures staff needs are met, and makes sure families feel welcomed and cared for. Her calm leadership and willingness to help keep Fremont running smoothly every day. She does this well. Her dedication, professionalism, and heart for service make her an invaluable part of the Fremont team. Keshana Taylor truly embodies what it means to do whatever it takes. Please join me in celebrating her on her well-deserved recognition. just for you.
Thank you.
They're both here now.
All right. So we're going to return, if it's okay with the president.
President's coin, Dr. Carter.
Say it out. I'm sorry.
No, it's-
President's coin.
We are flexible here. That's what's great about us.
And then we'll go back to student.
Okay.
All right.
So next on the agenda is the President's Coin. Some of you may be familiar with a challenge coin in the military. It's a coin that is given from a high-ranking individual, usually a commander, to someone in the warfighter. Here at BCPS, we are adopting a similar coin, a new tradition called the President's Coin. This coin represents a person's affiliation to Battle Creek Public Schools, as well as their achievements, dedication, and service within the district. This coin is given to an individual only from the President of the Board of Education. Each month, the President will have the opportunity to give a President's Coin to someone. It can be anyone in the district, to include admin staff, teachers, parapros, lunch workers, bus drivers, secretaries, or anyone. This month's President's Coin is going to someone I have not had the privilege to meet yet. However, a student wrote me a letter, and you will see why I chose this person. Dear President Fulbright, my teacher deserves the President's Coin because she is really nice and enchants everyone she meets. She makes me want to do my work because she puts a fun, creative spin on it. She is the kind of teacher who makes learning fun with games and songs. Even though she's a lot of fun, she also knows when to put her foot down and get us busy learning. She inspires me to be a strong adult who I know I can talk to when something's wrong. She takes interest in each of her students and makes sure everyone feels safe. She interacts with individual students to ensure no one gets left behind or left out. My teacher also shares about her personal experiences and helps us to learn lessons from her life, to see things from different perspectives, and to do our best. I like how she admits when she makes a mistake and shows us how to fix it. When she teaches something, she goes over it in multiple times in different ways to make sure everyone understands. She is very encouraging, and she is very encouraging, and since being in her class, my reading scores have gone up 2 whole grade levels. It's not by mistake that I've grown like this because from the very first day in her class, she asks what my goals were and checks in with me regularly to make sure I'm getting closer to those goals. But it's not just me, she helps everyone with their individual goals. Because of her, I am more confident and successful in school. She makes me feel important, like I matter. I know every day is a fresh day when I walk in her room, even if yesterday wasn't my best. She tries to make each day the best day she can, and I enjoy going to her class and look forward to seeing her every day. Her confidence and excitement are more contagious than COVID. Her big heart and energetic presence makes Mrs. Malone the perfect candidate to receive the President's Coin. She tells me all the time that she is proud of me, and I want her to know how proud I am of her too. Thank you, Mrs. Malone, for making school something I look forward to and for helping me feel like I belong. Sincerely, Jonathan. I'm honored to present the President's Coin for the month of February to Mrs. Willandra Malone. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
How long of a picture? No! You want me to Photoshop the coin?
Thank you. And now we will go go back to student athletes.
Right, and that was very appropriate. Congratulations, Ms. Love. We want to celebrate another student for excellence in athletics. So if Akira Shepard would come forward, please. Right. It's my honor to recognize this exceptional student athlete. Last month, she competed in her first girls wrestling tournament. And she didn't just compete, she won first place.
Yeah!
This past weekend, she continued to demonstrate her talent and determination by finishing as runner-up in the Girls Conference Championship. These accomplishments alone are impressive, but what makes her story even more meaningful is the broader impact she is having. Wrestling has traditionally been viewed as a boys' sport, yet Akira is helping reshape that perception. By stepping confidently onto the mat and competing at a high level, she is blazing a trail for other girls and showing them what is possible. She is not only competing, she is empowering. Beyond her athletic success, she is known as a wonderful human being. She is a quiet leader who leads by example. Her coaches and teachers describe her as someone who carries herself with integrity, humility, and strength of character. She is also a strong student who understands that excellence in athletics must be matched by excellence in the classroom. She represents the very best of Battle Creek Public Schools: courage, discipline, leadership, and heart. We are incredibly proud of her accomplishments and even more proud of the example she sets for others. Please join me in congratulating Akira Shepard for her outstanding achievement. Keep shining. We conclude tonight's celebrations with one additional amazing student, Tatiana Johnson. All right. It is my privilege to recognize you for your outstanding achievements across multiple athletic programs. Tati, is that what they call you? Okay, has been excelling in the sport of wrestling, an arena traditionally dominated by males. And she continues to prove that determination and talent know no boundaries. Last month, she competed in the Ron Russo Girls Wrestling Tournament and earned a second-place finish in the heavyweight division. This marked her first time earning a medal in wrestling, a milestone accomplishment that reflects her hard work, perseverance, and courage. What makes Tati's achievements even more impressive is her commitment across 3 varsity sports. In addition to wrestling, she competes on our girls' swim team and on our track team, earning varsity letters in all 3. That level of dedication requires discipline, resilience, and exceptional time management. Tati represents the very best of Battle Creek Public Schools. She is not only competing, she is breaking barriers, setting new standards, and demonstrating what it means to be a well-rounded student athlete. Her willingness to step into challenging spaces and compete at a high level is inspiring to her peers and our entire community. Please join me in congratulating Tatiana Johnson for her remarkable accomplishments and for the pride she brings to our district.
Ranger, in a few words.
One last thing about the two girls. I didn't know it when I nominated them, but they both ended up competing this past weekend in the regional tournament, which you have to finish in the top 4 at districts in order to do that. So after the nomination, they both achieved that and competed in the regional tournament this past weekend. Unfortunately, neither of them are advancing to state, but they're one level away from state championships, basically. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Go Icon. Thank you.
All right, so I just want to say before we move on, congratulations to all of the recipients and winners tonight for staff and students. You guys are amazing. Let's give one more round of applause for all of them. Okay, we are moving on to reports and recommendations. Star recommendation, Northwestern. Dr. Cheeks.
Good evening, board. I am bringing to you today a recommendation to approve the engagement of Star Commonwealth to conduct a comprehensive assessment and provide sustained one-on-one consultation and coaching at Northwestern Middle School for their teaching staff and their support personnel. Their on-site consultation would observe daily classroom operations, meet with school staff and leadership, and model trauma-informed best practices in the school building, provide coaching and real-time immediate feedback, support implementation of resilience and trauma-informed focused activities. The amount that we are asking for this proposal that will go from now until the end of the school year would be $40,135.
Do we have any? Go ahead.
So, a couple questions. One, what's going to be our deliverables from STAR? And do we know if they have demonstrated success in doing this with others? What will we get from STAR that's different from what we might already know or have access to?
So, if you remember last year we had Star Rec program where they actually took tier 2 and tier 3 students out of the school environment and they provided services through the Star Rec program. So we didn't have that in the budget for this year to take care of that, but the same successes that were held for student level work at that program is what we expect to roll out from this, except for instead of working directly with students, they will be working with the staff to support the students to service them right in their school building instead of a separate house. So it's not just that they're going to be doing the assessments, which is what they have done in the past for us. The assessment is just supposed to help them along with the assessments we already took at the school level in our trauma-informed walkthroughs and PSC walkthroughs, and to now create a comprehensive plan on how to support teachers specifically in the classroom around classroom management so we can keep kids in the classroom and in the school.
So you're going to translate what worked for them when they performed services
by leading
off-site.
through adults versus the direct contact with students. So while they're there, I can anticipate that they will do some real-time interactions with students, but their main focus is so that they can support staff, so that they can help students around social emotional learning and wellness and around classroom and behavioral management.
And when we sent them there before, did we have to pay them for that?
When we sent the students to
off-site?
yeah,
Okay.
yes we did.
All right.
It was a portion of FTE.
Okay.
Can I ask a question? So this is focused on Northwestern. Is there something similar, at other schools, or can you provide some more context?
So, yes, this is focused at Northwestern, and it is based on, it's a database decision. So based on the challenges that Northwestern is experiencing or challenges that we will hope for Northwestern not to experience in the future, we are going to pilot this there. So if it has good results, it could filter into other schools, but right now the focus is for the last 5 months of the school year to support Northwestern towards some of those behavioral, academic, and attendance goals.
I have a question. They're doing an assessment, but then what happens after the assessment? Who's responsible for making sure that we're monitoring whatever recommendations they've made and implementing them, and is there a time for assessing that too?
Yep, so the assessment is gonna take place immediately, and at the same time, they will be doing the on-site coaching, because that's the most important part of it. A lot of assessment-based information has already been provided to them from the assessments that we've done in district, but because they're an organization coming in, they wanna see for themselves exactly what it looks like for them to fall into place based on what we've already asked for their assignment to be over there. And so I will be the person who, myself and Ashley Jones, will be overseeing the work that happens with STAR, as well as building leadership will probably have more of an impact on the work that happens over at the school building. And then we will work with the administrative staff over there to make sure that they're getting the outcomes expected from STAR support.
Yeah, but after the STAR support ends, because this is just a short period of time, this is through the end of the school year, so are we going to have a plan? It seems like this is an ongoing need, not just this 5 months. So.
Yeah, so actually we have been provided 2 proposals from STAR, but so this one is only to go into the end of this school year. There's a proposal that extends through the summer for training and learning, and then also into next school year. And so once we get through this portion of it and see success there, then hopefully I'll be able to bring this secondary proposal to extend this into the school year. But with or without that proposal, we will be planning with STAR on how we kind of mimic some of the same things that they're going to be coaching and the strategies they'll be using, so that with or without the proposal, we can pick up and carry on the supports that they're going to train staff on. Did I answer that question?
Add a little context around, so as Dr. Cheeks said, this is in response to the data around what Northwestern needs, and this is a capacity building grant. And so the whole goal of this is to build the capacity of the staff, which the majority are new to both the district and the building, capacity of staff to respond to student. So the impact of that is their skills around support for capacity building.
That's what this, we should see what different.
And we should see an increased is going to be geared towards trauma-informed practices, and we should see increased.
AA. Remind me, is that?
I think that sounds really, the few months.
I do have one question, because right now, it's K through 2 and 6 through 8. So next year, when we add more teachers, how will those teachers be? Like, will the teachers that get trained now be able to train the new staff, or is it gonna have to be?
Yep, so the hope is not just teachers, but your administrative staff as well would have the capacity to then train anybody else who's coming in and set the expectations for what that environment looks like. Also, we will have trauma-informed practitioners. So your behavior interventionist, your student support coordinator at the district level are also going to be trained the trainers. So anybody coming in after this model will be able to be trained in district through this as well.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Cheeks. Moving on to B, BCPS School Improvement Bond. Mr. Bowman.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In conjunction with the security upgrades that are ongoing throughout the district, bids for the initial phase of the construction portions of the bond project have been solicited, reviewed, and awarded. The construction portion of the school improvement bond will be implemented in 3 phases, beginning in spring of 2026 and concluding in the fall of 2028. Phase 1 construction prioritizes 4 projects addressing immediate safety, security, and building envelope needs. These Springfield Tennis Court reconstructions, A&J elected to deliver early, high-impact improvements that reduce district liability, addressing expiring or absent warranties, enhancing students, and preventing further facility deterioration. The recommended contractor packages will allow with the initial portion below and the specified amounts below to complete phase 1. Please note at this point.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving back to discussion. A, MASB Board of Directors nominees. So you'll see in your packet, we did receive, there's 3 nominees for Region 6, which is us, we're Region 6. And they are myself, Tiana Harrison from Kalamazoo Public Schools, and Elizabeth Hodell from St. Joseph County ISD. So in new business, voting on one of them, and I hope you vote for me. And any questions?
Shameless plug.
Okay, cool.
I personally plan to vote for Charlie.
Thanks. Okay, then moving on to B, board vacancies. So, just like last time, I just want to reiterate to the public, when we have board vacancies, our district has 30 calendar days to appoint a new trustee when a vacancy happens or a resignation happens. If we don't, the ISD, the Calhoun County ISD, will step in and appoint for us. So that's how that works. We will be having a resignation later on this evening. So March 9th, which is in 2 weeks from today, our next board meeting, is the deadline for resumes and letters of interest to be sent to our superintendent and board secretary, Kawita Smith. All of this will be posted online after tonight's meeting. And then March 23rd, a month from today, we will have our open interviews just like last time, and appointing a new trustee at that meeting, our regular meeting, March 23rd. So all of this will be on our website and social medias after tonight, but that's how the process will work. It's just like last time. Nothing will change. We just did this a few months ago with Trustee Flores, so it will be very similar. Any questions from the board? Okay. Next up, C, Section 27L, Compensation Funds. Dr. J.
Hi, everybody. So, I actually have good news. We got money from the state of Michigan, as you guys read in the letter, to give to staff. Everyone will receive some except for Dr. Carter. I'm going to take hers too. And then we're going to pay that out to anybody that was here March 1st and before, and then we'll pay that out in June. In addition to that, even more good news is teachers and principals will actually get a retention bonus in December of next year. So, any questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we love good news. All right, D, mid-year progress report. Dr. Carter.
Oh,
We
okay.
are.
So we are pleased to present an update on our progress following our mid-year cycle review. And so first up, let's bring the presentation up. In your board packet, I provided an executive summary, but each department leader will take an opportunity to go through their department's metrics and provide an opportunity for plan. You want to click on the first slide for me? I guess I was the first person.
Put that laptop on the top of that.
Here we go. So, as a reminder, our strategic plan has 4 goals. Positive school experience that covers all grades, building foundations and achieving excellence, which is our pre-K through 3rd grade, grade level mastery for all, which is 4 through 8, and career, college, and community ready, which covers our grades 9 through 12. And so first up is Dr. Cheeks to talk about our positive school experience.
Press down on it to go forward.
Okay. So just for department overview, I serve as the director for student services and pupil accounting. Within that department, we have Ashley Jones, who is student support coordinator, who pretty much handles connecting students to the services that they need and behavior interventions. We also have Rebecca Bowden, which is our attendance and truancy interventionist, so all things attendance, down from the coding up to engagement around attendance. Maria Mawari, who is our family engagement coordinator. Sandy Bruner, who is our pupil accounting specialist, so she handles all enrollment, anything to do with state reporting, auditing, all of those things, pupil accounting. And then we have Sarah Garrett, who coordinates all of the records for the district in terms of student-based records. Our department also supports and serves some external groups that support our students, and that would be Dean Transportation, Battle Creek Police Department, Grace Health, Calhoun County Public Health Department, which provides us with our school wellness nurses at the elementary level, the CISD, this particularly the auditing department, and STAR, and YPIC as well. YPIC is a mentorship and a social emotional wellness group that supports our students. So the demographics of the students that we service, we have 3,385 students in the school district. 40% of those students are African American, 28% of them are white, 14% are Hispanic, 16% are multiracial, 1% are Asian. School population, student population is special education. Those are students who have IEPs, and 8% of our student language learners, or MLL. So for the attendance and belonging piece of positives, we committed to decrease the percent of students who are chronically by 30% at the end of our Street 31, continuing to creating experiences for students.
Here? To say that we're not meeting the goal is we're making progress.
We're making progress at this moment. So, but that's how I, if I have to see where I'm at, and at this moment, we would be expected to be meeting that goal, and we're not, but we're making progress towards meeting that goal by the end of the school year, and I'll speak to how we're doing.
One more question, I'm sorry, and then I'll go with my second question.
Oh, okay. I wanted to clarify the student belonging and how that's measured. I understand we have a survey, but are we measuring, like, number one, is it is it sampled? Is it 100%? Like, who's getting the survey and filling it out? And number two, so does this mean that we're doing it twice a year, or how frequently is it being done?
I am going to need some support from our technology.
I can speak, well, unless you want to go, Mitch.
Everybody looking around.
Okay, so the student survey, so my student voice survey, we started doing that last year because it was state mandated, so we did it one time this year. Under the leadership of Mitch Fowler and Dr. Harvey, I think we came up to twice a year, right? And so one will be the state mandated survey, and then the one we just had to set that baseline, Dr. Harvey and Mitch Fowler created a form that was, it's actually quite lengthy, and the expectation is that 100% of our students take it. I believe right now, 1,600 out of 3,000, I think we're like 67% students participated in that survey, so not quite 100%. And the survey is for 12, Mitch?
Can we pause for a moment, because that's incorrect information. One is that not all students take the survey, because it's not for kindergarten through third grade. I think it starts.
So 412?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
My Student Voice is a statewide survey that is given across Michigan, and it is optional. It was developed so that we could norm it across the state and get information to share. We have decided to use that as a metric to kind of determine belonging, and so Mitch probably has more information that he'll add to that.
Yeah, so I guess the biggest thing to your question about like how is it measured? So the My School Data, or the My Student Voice survey that we'll give in the spring, which is the official one, has 3 different components. I'm probably gonna forget some, but it's belonging, it's community, and there's another component. So what we did was we took just the belonging component, and I worked with Kent ISD to make sure that the survey for the belonging component mirrored the logic and scoring that they use for the official one. And so when it comes down to it, it's really basic. All these questions, it's a 1 through 5 scale, and if we get a 4 or a 5, it's considered a yes for belonging, and so we basically add up all the 4s and 5s divided by the number of total answers, and that's how we got the 51.8% for belonging.
Thank you. I love that we're doing that, to be able to measure that, twice a year, and to be able to mark this. So that's great. I think the only thing was still pending of like again, who's the sample? Like, is it, it's not, you said it's not 100% and it's only certain ages?
It's so it is 4th through 12th grade, and just kind of a example for you. So in the spring, we had 863 responses last spring. This fall, we had 1,615. So we almost doubled our number of responses from last spring to this fall.
Okay, but it goes out to everybody, so they
Yes.
all have the opportunity to respond. Okay, so it's not like we're
Thank you.
sampling some way.
And we expect that all students 4 through 12 take this assessment, and we monitor the participation rates by school.
How do they get this?
It is computerized, and
So Google form for the fall, and then it's a link that's pushed to their Chromebook in the spring.
And if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Harvey has created protocols around which classrooms at every level. So in the middle school, it is assigned to a core content area so that we make sure that kids, it isn't random or optional.
I would also add we align it to our assessment calendar, so it's not something that is a surprise, but it's predictable when the survey is going to be given. We also time it with the administration of MAP or NWA testing, either right before or right after. So the kids have the computer technology available and it's predictable.
I'll just add just a really quick lesson learned because Principal Gillen's in the room. So one of the things that we learned after our November administration, when we do our internal one, is the amount of time it takes for us to crunch the numbers internally, create building level reports, and get the data back out to the building. So I just want to raise that up as kind of that was a learning for us our first time, and then we hope to have that much faster for our internal administrations moving forward.
Is there any concern about pairing it with like the standardized assessment, which is a very high stress and impersonal part of the year, so that may lead to a decrease in things like belonging, and just like you're being taught that a lot?
So during our district assessment, there's a 3-week to 4-week window. So we're just saying take it within that window of time, not a particular day, but within that time window.
I was thinking like you said either before or after taking the standardized assessments. I would think there'd be a pretty significant difference in whether you do it before or after.
Just for context, our internal administration, which is only 1/3 of the official one, the average response time for the students is about 6 minutes. Just not that it's 6 minutes after you take the MAP test, but it's just that's how much time it took
To take the test.
to take the survey. Our internals, correct.
And the questions are really around, do I feel like my teacher at my school appreciates me, sees me, values me? And so I think those are regardless of whether or not you're taking an assessment. I think what comes up for me in this is maybe at one of our board meetings, we can share a little bit more about what that assessment looks like at a work session and give you some insight on the questions that we're asking.
Yeah, and let's, if I wasn't clear, were they coming from the state assessment or are they based on our strategic plan? Because I know our strategic plan has profiles of a learner, so where are the questions?
So the questions are coming from Kent ISD, who put together this consortium. We aligned our strategic plan, that component to that survey, essentially.
I believe the survey's also online. They have a website for the survey with copies of the questions and everything.
So if we're done with that, my question was about the behavioral metric of how do we get that 90%? How do we measure that on the previous slide that you had?
We measure that with our school lytics data for the amount of students on the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 scale. So when we say that their students are meeting their behavior expectations, that means that 90% of our students are tier 1, green. Some strategic actions that are taking place is the first thing that we conducted was a trauma-informed positive school experience walkthrough in each of our school buildings to understand what their needs were as well. And so out of that, or in addition to that, de-escalation training for all schools took place at staff meetings. For teachers, support staff, everybody who was who's supposed to be in attendance of a staff meeting received de-escalation training. Now your support personnel and a good portion of your leadership in the buildings also receive a full crisis prevention intervention training, which also includes some more magnified de-escalation skills. Professional development for support staff. And so each month or twice a month, they are provided with strategies to support behaviors in the classroom or in the school building, sorry. Home visits for attendance and behavioral based needs have been conducted and are still in the works of being conducted. There was a launch of a new campaign in the building, in the game, which launched at the February 20th family night at the basketball game. And community partnerships for targeted student support were implemented, so through YPIC. They are supporting 3 of our schools in the school building to support that belonging, and we have developed a student-led attendance team at the high school level. So that attendance team has students who are in grades 9 through 12 with varying attendance. So some of them have good attendance, some of them are struggling in terms of attendance. And so that attendance team has been supporting, helping, how do I engage my own peers? And so they have created announcements for their own school building and also to go around the school district. So while they won't be performing all of the announcements, they will be providing scripts so that students and other school buildings can engage in that.
Question for you on the slide. For the de-escalation training for all schools, did Star Commonwealth provide that, or is that a separate thing?
No, student services provided that. So we are trained in crisis prevention intervention, and so we're able to provide the de-escalation training for staff around that. So some of the data behind the student belonging is belonging drops 18%, percentage points from grades 5 through 7. So as students are transitioning into that middle school or secondary programming, that's when we saw a decline in their sense of belonging. So the middle school transition is a critical piece that we need to have taken a strong look at. Here, the areas that you see in red are students who are considered chronically absent at this time of the year. So chronic absenteeism is 10% of the total amount of days in the school that we could have attended in the school year. So some of the students who are included in red right now, they can come out of that if they have not yet reached 18 days. But you'll see here the students in red are chronically absent. The students in yellow are at risk, and our green tier is students who have missed 5 or fewer days, or yes, 5 or fewer days.
A quick comment on that one. I love seeing this data. This is really helpful. You know, just in the future, again, very minor formatting comment, it would be really helpful to have like the levels. So I see it's ordered alphabetically, but like have the level by elementary, middle, you know, so there's a little bit more easy comparison by level.
Central and Springfield have the highest number of chronic absenteeism, students with chronic absenteeism in the district now, so there's been some intentional efforts that will be slated to support those 2 buildings.
Question, so this is related to both slides. We've called out like things that we see. So like for the belonging, it dropped 18 points for grades 5 to 7. Do we know why? For the previous slide, and then also for this one, why for Springfield and Central having more chronic absenteeism? Does our data show that?
I can speak to
The belonging.
the belonging, yeah. So a lot of the themes, especially for the transition years in middle school, talked about fairness. And so it was interesting to see students at that age disproportionately said, I want my teacher to treat me fair when it comes to discipline and whatnot. And so having 3 teenagers myself, I could see maybe a little bit of that. It was interesting though, because when they were asked about fairness relative to like, are their peers treated fair? The answers were, yeah, they were. So that was a big change from elementary into middle school, was just this idea of fairness.
Can I I think that's a super interesting finding, and then still raises this question of really what does that mean? Like, to what extent is also that developmental, you know?
So I'll just say too, it was interesting because, sorry, Dr. Cheeks.
No, that's okay.
So it was interesting because fairness relative to, it was really around discipline. So resources, access to materials, that was pretty even across the board. But when it came to discipline, that was where you started to see some of the disproportionality from students.
Was it certain schools that had an uptick or certain teachers? Does it get that granular for you?
No, not teachers. It doesn't get that granular. So I don't know off the top of my head, building-wise, but middle school, that was definitely a trend.
It'd be really interesting to look at, you know, the statewide comparative data to be able to say, is this a trend across the state? Like, is this just a trend, you know, or is this us, you know?
I think once we get our, so we'll do this again in March. He was giving me some of the school level information. Thank you. Yeah, I think as far as the trends go, once we give the official one in the spring, then we'll have done 3 administrations, and I think we could have some better insight. And we can get state averages. It's on that website.
But we have a baseline from last spring, right?
Correct.
So that's our starting baseline.
And I'll just note, our baseline belonging score last year was about 4% points higher than it is right now, but we also surveyed double the number of students in the fall compared to the spring. Volatility.
That's helpful context. Thank you.
Based on that analysis, are there going to be any plans around how to address that drop off? Did you get a chance to look at it?
So our principals already have cycle plans that they do for every 90 days, and so that's something that's work that honestly they're already doing. We just need to codify it inside of that 90 days.
I think what else is interesting is that we can triangulate this data through my student advisory committees. And so during the survey, in addition to what the students are telling me, you can see the themes across the jar around fairness. So I can dig deeper by asking them questions about what are they experiencing at school, and what do they think would be areas that we can do better in around creating that sense of belonging. And so that information is also shared with our principals so that they can think about what they might shift.
And then my secondary question that I stacked on there was about the attendance one. So any why information around Springfield and Central having the higher chronic absenteeism?
So at Central, a large amount of the students who are in that red area, a lot of them are actually in the school building and not going to class. So there's a disconnect about getting the students to be in the classrooms versus in the hallway or other places. What we've also uncovered, it's not going to be a large part of this, is that we had some coding and some logistical things that needed to be corrected in our system. So for instance, if a student was sent to a alternative room or an alternative space, they would be marked absent, or they would be marked with a code that would also mark them absent. So we're working through just trying to get through some of those pieces. Also, if a parent signed in late, some of those students were remaining as absent versus tardy and coming in. So we have met with the groups who are responsible for those things and making sure that those baseline things are taken care of so we can get a clear picture of what data is. So a lot of this has to do with awareness too about how not attending school impacts your own academic success, and having parents understand how not attending school impacts academic success as well. We also have bullying that came up as reasons why students don't want to be in school or in particular classes because they have adversity with their classmates. And then there is still a mental health piece. Needing to receive the behavioral and emotional and mental health supports that you and your family need so that you can be successful in the school building.
Okay, and then you probably addressed this before, I just don't remember the answer. With middle school and high school, they have multiple periods, so how do we, is it like absent for the day, or are you bringing in like
periods?
So
when we have
it's a total of the periods missed at the secondary level. So if I have a 7-period day, once I miss 7 periods, even if it was not consecutive, that's when I get my one absence. So it's based on the amount of periods that are on their schedules. Almost same thing for elementary because we do a AM period and a PM period. So once you miss 2, you have missed 1 full day.
I wanted to add another learning, which I really appreciated from Principal McClinney, was trying to look at the seniors who are chronically absent right now. And so as we dig into the data, what we're learning is that individuals who don't need full schedules don't feel the need to be in school all the time, so they already have gotten the credits that they need, but they have a full schedule, right? So what I mean by that is you probably only need 2 credits, but you have a full schedule, and so the rest of the day kind of seems nebulous. That was one thing that came up. The other thing that I was really surprised to see in that survey, not surprised, but what adds to the conversation already occurring, is that school starts too early. For some of them, and they were getting off work at 1 o'clock in the morning and then trying to come to school, so there's a little bit of that. So we are learning from the data by digging deeper and getting students information to inform what our next steps might be.
I have a question to comment, I guess. Maybe it's like nothing related, but I'm looking at these absence levels, and I could be wrong, but I believe Central and Springfield are also our biggest schools, right? Those are the 2 largest.
Central, in terms of population, is our largest school.
Springfield, isn't that number 2?
Not number 2.
It's not, no, yeah. But
I was curious, maybe there's some correlation between like size and like feeling that like that personal touch or something. Maybe I'm off. I don't know. It's something I was thinking of. Like kind of like seeing by sorting different ways and trying to see if there's something there maybe.
Natural. I guess just speaking from personal experience, like as you get older, it's easier to not be where you're supposed to be.
to that point, the larger spaces. Okay. Behavior. Here is our behavior distribution across the district. So again, where you see red, you'll see students who are in Tier 3. Your green levels are Tier 1 students, and your yellow levels are students who are approaching the, who are at risk of coming out of Tier 2. The system is producing attendance levels that still remain below what district targets are to be, with the biggest challenge at our secondary level. So almost at all of our secondary buildings, with the exception of Battle Creek STEM, we are seeing some high chronic absenteeism numbers. Behaviors are showing signs right now of being consistent across schools and still able to continue with meeting that data at the end of the school year. A small group of students, 4 to 6%, have these high intensive needs. And this accounts for the disproportionate amount of incidents that are beyond some of the staff's capacity at the school building. To engage parents and families in the community more, we're increasing the opportunities of two-way family engagement. And so what we've been doing is having videos and meetings and allowing these resources and information to go out to families, but we haven't really gotten a lot of opportunities to get some two-way engagement with families. So in order to do that, the parent survey is going to continue to be launched, and it was launched first in October and then again in December, and there's a big push for parents to engage in that survey so that we can see where we're at in terms of what their needs are for their students in the district.
You sent this out already, you said, in October?
Yep, we sent the first one out. The first one that went out, we piloted at the Buren St, which was just for the families. But what we found there is that majority of the families who were there were not Battle Creek families. So the next launch was
The survey?
Yeah.
And the newsletter. So the Family Community Engagement Coordinator is sending out a monthly newsletter in that the survey was included. And so we're not reporting data because we don't have the level of responses that we need, but basically every event that you're attending, you should be able to find a QR code with a link to that survey. So for example, if you were at the Lakeview game on Friday, we had QR codes all over the building with a link to that survey. So we're just trying to, the family and community engagement is trying to get more responses on that survey.
And that first newsletter launched on February 1st.
Yep, so the new one's coming out in March.
Yeah, I must have skimmed it because I didn't see that at all. But like with all of these notifications that we get in calls, are we gonna just say on the call, hey y'all, we sent out an engagement letter? Because I didn't even see, or a survey?
That is the plan, so that's what I've been speaking to Maria Ma about, because she has 2 opportunities
Okay.
during each week that she speaks to parents, and so, and families across the district, so the.
I just been in the robocall, because I get a call, a text, a signal, I like
And
everything.
two of we come from family engagement.
One of them
so
should
one
say
of
it's a
them-
survey.
I
I
agree.
didn't catch that at all. I missed it.
So Dr. Perry, something that I think maybe we can shift to doing, and I'll connect with Maria Mas, every communication that we send out from a district level at the very bottom could just have a link to that survey. So every, maybe not on text because we run out of space, we only have 160 characters, but for sure emails we can, add like in the signature, we can definitely include that survey.
That one was sent out, the link was embedded in the text message.
Oh, it was? Oh, perfect.
What was it?
February 4th. Is
that which one are you saying?
The first family engagement newsletter.
I'm on this topic. Do you want to go?
If yours is related to that, I have
It
a
is
totally
related
new
to that.
comment.
I was going to suggest making sure, whatever, school level communications are going out, because I know that's what I'm most attentive to, of the weekly, or whatever's coming directly from the school. It would be really helpful. Because I did get that, but I forgot about it. And so that what would remind me would be to,
Bother you with it.
yeah, and with all, but those are the ones that I'm paying most closest to attention to, is my school level.
Yeah, noted. We'll make that change.
So, when I look at all of that, there is a relationship between engagement, attendance, culture, climate, and academics. And I know we've kind of had some conversations about this before, but I think what might be missing up here that I know we've talked about is focusing on the culture and climate and the environment of the school. I think the reality is kids have a choice. They do. And this isn't even related to socioeconomic status. I work with families who are well off and their kids have a choice on whether or not they go to school. So I think for us, it's also about how do we create a culture and a climate that speaks to the what's in it for me at all family engagement levels, where it's just not stale, right? Like we heard earlier, I think it was your son that nominated the teacher that mentioned it was fun, right? I mean, and so we're gonna have to, I think we have to get creative about how we make school a place that kids want to be and to therefore increase academics and engagement and all those sort of things. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. And I would say one other theme is the middle school. So I don't know if there are some targeted opportunities for the middle school level, because that seems to be where everything starts tanking.
I really like these 3 different measurements. They're, concise, clear, measuring sort of different things are important to us. With our equity lens, I would love to be able to see this data broken down demographically, to be able to see what the differences are, whether that's, again, by race, ethnicity, gender, multilingual, multilanguage status, socioeconomic. I think that'd be super helpful for us to really get more nuance of what's going on.
Absolutely. And we do have that available. Yeah.
Question? Comment. So I do see the link on here. I did not interpret this as something. The way I read it was just if you have comments, go ahead and give them. So I didn't realize it was something y'all were actually needing me to fill out, so I opted not to. But, because I get asked to do a lot of stuff in a day. So I was like, I don't have any complaints, I'm good. So with the actual terminology, I see it flipping between caregiver and family. Have we is there some thought process behind that? Is that unintentional or intentional?
We are shifting more, sorry, I'll let you speak.
Go ahead, Jose.
Well, so with Maria and family and community engagement, she is trying to shift most of the communication we share out with families to caregiver, just to be mindful of those who might be growing up with grandma or with auntie, as opposed to saying parent, we say caregiver. So we are making that adjustment so it is uniform, to your point, because it is kind of confusing to have both.
And even to extend more into that, because your grandmother and your auntie are still your family.
Yeah.
But I could be, we have a lot of students who are in what we call special populations. So I have people who are caring for me and supporting me that are not a part of my family. So I could be in foster care, or I could be receiving care from someone who is not a family member to me. So it's just people, it could be a babysitter that's the one who's bringing you to all of the events or having to attend the conferences. So it's just the village of folks who are supporting the kids and not just under parental or family guidance.
I would just be mindful that the term caregiver does not evoke that for everybody. So when I think caregiver, I think about like when my dad was declining in health. My mom was in the caregiver role. I don't really think of that as a minor. So thanks for that context. So maybe it's a family and caregiver or something to that extent, but I was confused when I kept seeing the caregiver.
That's a good insight on that.
Yeah, it's just the context of how I've experienced the word. So not right, wrong, or anything like that, but we might just want to be mindful that we might be inadvertently excluding when we try to.
If they're thinking, I got understood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maintaining family and
Yeah.
and parent and all of those people who support.
Yeah, but thank you for that rationale.
Any more? I think I went through this, but I don't remember. Yeah. So, okay, so then we've got the STAR support. So if we talk about middle schools, I know that Northwestern is not only a middle school, but there are middle school students there. So there's going to be some support at their level, understanding what the needs are there, increase home visits. And so when we look at the students who are chronically absent, it was determined that if we could really pull 73 students out of chronic absenteeism land or out of being at risk, then we really could turn around the data. So there's been some strategic input on who those students are and what the new interventions are going to look like to get those students mid-year to out of that red tier status if they haven't already gone so far into it, or from that orange status to not go any further into that. And a lot of that is focused on how we're engaging the parents through home visits and parent meetings and things like that. And then just more improved communication and parent education around, to Dr. Johnson's point, even if you don't have barriers per se that are getting your kids to school, that school is still important to be there every day. Even if you've got a 4.0 student, there are a lot of other things that school has to offer, but we have to support in creating a space where kids want to be.
So when we talk about home visit, is that the only intervention? How are we utilizing like truancy intervention?
So there's a lot of interventions. So we use CISD truancy. So we do our own truancy level, and then once you've reached beyond the district level in truancy, then the CISD comes in, and there's two truancy officers that we work with at that level. We also, of course, do all forms of communication. So text, letter, phone calls. There's attendance contracts where we've seen that your attendance hasn't been that strong. Let's look for some cycles. So there's a lot more interventions than home visit. Home visit is really a top tier engagement strategy for intervention. Definitely not the only one. It's almost last resort. Thank you.
Thank you. Your turn.
That one, yep, so, yep. Yep.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It gives me pleasure to walk through the mid-year data that confirms that where implementation is tight with curriculum, instruction, and assessment, you will see improved student outcomes. What I've noticed is throughout this presentation of the 3 tiers of academics, you will also notice that acceleration remains uneven. You also will notice that across the district there is variable of academic success. and it is very visible, but will no longer go unaddressed. So in the next 20 slides plus, I will walk you through the mid-course of what is happening at pre-K 3, 4, 8, and 9, 12. So this is a department that has been focused on 3 big priorities, and I do underscore big. The first priority has been establishing a guaranteed and viable curriculum. The second has been ensuring academic excellence through instruction. And then the third has been examining instruction through aligned assessments. And when all 3 of those are aligned, you will see results. When all 3 of those are implemented with fidelity and integrity, you will see that the system becomes coherent and predictable to increase student outcomes. So this is the team that is responsible for driving those instructional improvements. So let's look at pre-K 12 or pre-K 3. So what we've committed to is over the course of 5 years of raising a student proficiency in reading and math to 80% by July 1st, 2031. But what's important to note is we have created a stair-step model that gives us indicators whether or not we're on the right track each year, each midpoint. And so what we are looking at is where are we in the midpoint that tells us, are we doing what is right? Are we doing what is getting results? Or do we need to make mid-course corrections? So in the pre-K 3 area, our work has been centered around teacher clarity and understanding what is it students are to learn, how is it to best teach that instructional outcome, and then what do you do when they don't learn, and what do you do when they do learn? And that encompasses the unit walks. We also have embraced a walkthrough system that tells us, is the curriculum being taught as designed? Are we going in and seeing we've implemented and designed the curriculum? Is it being utilized? And our walkthrough data will indicate such. And then based on all that data, what is happening when we are stagnant, when achievement is not happening? And that is in place of, or that's when data conferences drive the discussion around what supports are needed for individualized students and supports needed for teachers. And so as a result of our mid-course,
Who does the data conference? Is that like your?
So it's tiered, and it happens at 3 levels. So it happens at central office, and we meet weekly to look at our data dashboard to see if pre-K data is moving, if it's not, and what do we need to do. It happens at the building level with principals bi-weekly with their teachers, and we've also built it in for teachers to have data conferences with students. And so for the midpoint check for pre-K 3, at this point in the school year, midway would indicate that ELA would be at 21.25% and math would be at 24.5% in order to meet our end of the year goal of 38% and 44% for math. So when you look at reading and math, we are on track to meeting our end of the year goal. And we recognize that even meeting the end of the year goal is not enough. So I want to make that very clear that although the midpoint benchmark says you're on track and you're doing something right, we also know that we need to scale up quicker and faster.
One quick question, I'm sorry.
Yes.
This is just me, I need a little more time with math, okay.
Yes.
The bottom 20% decreasing from 39, okay, no, I think I got it, I said it out loud.
You want that bottom to decrease because those are the kids that are furthest away from proficiency.
Okay, thank you, thank you. And I just also want to add, this is about you. I really appreciate how you come in with an honesty and accountability language. I've heard you several times say things like, we're going to reach this is not good enough, this won't happen again. And it's very clear. So I just want to give you that compliment. Thank you for that.
And I mean Wholeheartedly.
Yes.
And so what that data told me, I want to go back. What that data told me is something is not quite getting the results that I wanted. And so I needed to look more at building specific data to tell me where do our supports need to be targeted. And so that's the next slide that you see. The goal line is that dashed line, and that's our end of the year goal. So you can see that there are several schools that are close to meeting that goal, and then there are several schools that are situated furthest away from meeting that goal. And what we are doing as a team, for instance, let me just say, 4 out of 7 schools are currently on pace to meet the end of year goal, having met the mid-year benchmark. So remember, the end of the year goal for ELA is 38%. 3 out of the 7 schools are in need of targeted support as they fail to meet even the mid-year benchmark. So what adjustments is my team making? We are changing our support of all schools, and some of us are getting very targeted to make sure that all means all. And so that we're not going to allow 3 schools to not meet the end of the year benchmark at 38%.
So how do we get the 34%? Is that all pre-K through 3 kids and how they're doing towards proficiency?
Yes.
Okay, in that building?
Yes.
That number? Okay. So secondary question. I know your focus is heavily on like the principals and the teachers. How are you exploring or have you considered helping parents also support in this journey? So there's a skill and a will gap that might exist. So there could be some who just aren't willing or don't have the time to help, but for those who are there resources that would be available for them to understand this is what the kid is learning and this is how you can help at home, or something consistent to help bring parents along to help push these numbers as well?
Absolutely. So in our strategic plan, there is a connection between the family and school supports. And so that is one of the things that we're scaling up in the next cycle, because we do realize we cannot do it alone. I also realize that even in secondary, when parents know the tracking of students, of how they're doing as far as grades and the detailed progress reports, it does make a difference. And so we tested that in secondary, that parents should be getting progress reports that's bi-weekly, that doesn't just send out the data of grades, but what went into this grade, like what assignments, what unit, what tests are coming up. And I know that has made a huge difference.
Yeah, I will say for STEM, I get reports and it's like, this week we're working on whatever.
Yes.
And I can ask a question about that. So that has been helpful.
So extending that K-12.
Yeah.
And so this is math, and you'll see the goal line of 44% at the end of the year, and the buildings that are close to meeting it. We had 1 out of 7 of the schools that met the end of the year goal already. 1 out of the 7 schools that are 1 or 2 percentage points from meeting the end of the year goal. And then you can see the 2 out of 7 schools that are trending toward the end of the goal that have reached benchmark. But again, we have 3 schools that need targeted intervention. So you've heard me say targeted intervention a couple of times. I'm gonna come back to that slide. What does that mean? It means to be more diagnostic. It means to look at the assessments that our students are taking and get really specific to the skill gaps that are missing, that's causing them not to achieve proficiency. And then design plans around that per kid, per gap, so that we can see, for little Johnny who has 3 skill gaps, this is the intervention that he gets for this amount of time with this particular teacher, and then we reassess to see if we close that gap. It's getting very prescriptive instead of just thinking tier 1 in the classroom is going to be sufficient. We also realize that in order to implement all 3 tiers. So tier 1 is the general grade level instruction. That's what's happening in the classroom. Tier 2 is what happens when you don't reach proficiency for Tier 1. So we launched an assessment for Tier 1, I bombed it. Tier 2 kicks in and says, okay, what pieces of this did you miss? Let me reteach and reassess. Tier 3 is you have gaps in the foundation already that's getting in the way of you even reaching Tier 1. So all 3 tiers are necessary at the same time during the same school year so that Johnny can reach Tier 1. So if you think about it, scaffolding, many of us are familiar with the equity fence and the boxes. Think about that as Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. And over the fence and see proficiency, you need all 3 of those working at the same time.
Do we have sufficient resources to help? Because I'm imagining they have to be pulled out of class, or the teacher can't dedicate time from instruction. Do we have adequate resourcing internally for that?
We do. It's about aligning those. So we have title tutors, we have literacy tutors, and then we have the resources that are very scripted that helps with gap finding and skill gap supports. What the challenge has been is ensuring that everybody knows how that works together and implementing it as such. So it's a lot of learning, especially when you're not used to having to do all 3 tiers. And so to help us with that work, we are contracting with Midwest REL, which is a regional educational lab that specializes in instructional supports and research findings that help gap fill. So they have certain instructional modes and methods that they're going to help coach our instructional coaches on, as well as some of our teacher leaders to help expedite this process and accelerate the results. So that's pre-K 3. We're moving to grade level for 4-8s. So for 4-8, you will see much of the same as the strategy was to really get tight on, is the guaranteed viable curriculum being implemented as designed? Let's walk through and see and collect data to see what feedback and cycle monitorings we can provide, and then have data conferences around making sure that our data doesn't get stagnant. And so our goal and what we committed to was proficiency for 80% by 2031. And our mid benchmark would be 11% for ELA and 8% for math. The end of the year for this year is 20% for ELA and 14% for math. Again, when you see these numbers, you may say, wow, we're on track to hit our goal. And again, I say it's not enough. So even if we hit our goal, it's not enough. So by building, you can see that there are 4 out of the 7 schools that have met the end of the year goal already. 2 out of the 7 schools are 1 or 2 percentage points away from hitting the end of the year goal. And there's 1 school that needs targeted intervention. And again, making sure our resources are walking through with instructional staff and instructional personnel to help them build out the response model for students who are not accessing Tier 1.
I noticed these same schools are also the schools that were on the other presentation around attended. And so I'm just wondering, do we ever like overlay to create a story, even personas, like where we understand profiles of students or families or situations or whatever, so that when we say targeted interventions, like we know we're targeting a particular.
So one of the things that we've created, it's nothing new, but something that we came back to, is our district transformation team. And so you have multiple departments. You have technology, student services, TTLS. We're inviting HR to the table, because what we noticed is even in our strategies, if we're not talking and collaborating around the strategy, doesn't matter how many Tier 1, 2, 3 plans I have. If they're not coming to school, then they won't access the learning.
Right.
And so we all get in the room to talk about what is happening at these particular schools that we all need to wrap our services around so that we give forward momentum. And so 2 of the schools that you're seeing constantly show up are at a constant communication and focal point for our teams.
Can I offer, also Dr. Harvey does a great job of taking it on the road. So the DTT meets in those schools and then invites some staff, some of the principals in to also give a clear picture of what's happening in the school and what supports are needed. So we don't just stay here in this room, they're in those schools meeting and talking to people.
Doing observations, walking the halls, engaging, because it's also one thing to see numbers and not know the story behind the numbers. Right. So when you're in the school and experiencing in the classrooms, you can create more plans that are going to get movement because they're not just written on paper, it's what you've experienced.
I'm so obsessed with personas, like I do personas for everything at work, but even that can help, right? Like profiles without profiling or stereotyping students, but just to give an idea of the type of situation or circumstances that are contributing to some of these things, especially the ones that are showing up in every category. What is the profile of that so that we can say, okay, what do we need to do for this profile to help them get to school? And then once they get to school, right? So like looking at it that way may help address some of those themes.
And then the next slide indicates math. And so for math, you will see that the end of the year goal, 3 out of the 7 schools have met the end of the year goal to date. 2 schools are 1 or 2 percentage points from reaching the end of the year goal, with 1 school is on track to meet the benchmark goal, but then there's 1 school or 2 schools that need targeted supports.
So do we know, I was trying to compare the grades proficiency by school and see if there was a correlation, like if you were proficient at 45% K through 3, if it dropped off once you got to 4 through 8. It didn't look like it happened a lot with ELA, but for math, that drop off appears to be prevalent. Do we know what's driving that shift from if the kids are on track? Now granted, I know that I'm probably mixing data a little bit, but if they're on track by 3rd grade, but then there seems to be a drop off more so once you get to 4th through 8. Do we know what's driving that?
I don't know that at this moment.
Okay.
But it's something to investigate. I know that in our external reporting with AIR, they have done some trend data, but nothing that specific.
Yeah, because I was looking like at Fremont, they're at 42% when we go K through 3, and then when we get to 4 through 8, well, I guess theirs would be 4 and 5.
Yes.
4th and 5th graders probably. They're at 19.5. So I was just curious as to why we have that drop off at that point. But is this 4 through 8 mixing in all 4th? Well, if it's a building, it can't. So it would be their 4th and 5th graders.
Correct.
One other observation is the schools are doing well, in all of them. Are the, what did you said they're magnet schools? Or what?
Innovation center is what we
Okay, innovation centers. So there's something about that. Something about that. And I believe one factor in that could be support, right? Family support and some relationship to that, but yeah.
I will say for BC STEM and Fremont, they have the highest attendance. So it's back to
highest family engagement.
Yeah.
So yes,
Feels like a key driver.
So the adjustments that we're making is redesigning the intervention support. What we noticed in middle school is there's not a systemic tier 2, tier 3 response. It kind of was left up for department and up to teacher preference. And one of the things I want to create is predictability. And so when a student does not learn X, this is what happens. It takes the guesswork out of And it takes the inequities out of based on teacher, based on building, but it's more systemic. So when we look at what is the best practice and evidence-based practice for supporting students who are not learning grade level content, we have a systemic response. And so we're launching that in co-creation with principals this cycle. It already started. The other thing that is very telling for me is the health of our PLCs. So our PLCs is professional learning communities where early release Wednesdays, teachers get together, look at their data and make instructional moves. But wanting to understand how those are functioning, are they effective? What supports do they need? What learning do they need? And so my team is targeting that support because those are the drivers that will get us more accelerated outcomes when teachers know what to do as a result of students not learning in real time, day to day, week to week. And so career, college, and community ready, grades 9-12. What we committed to was to increase the 9th grade students on track for graduation to 90% by July 1, 2031, increase the overall district graduation rate to 90% by July 1st, 2031, increase the percent of students proficient in reading and math by 80% by July 1st, 2031. And so what the data is telling us is from spring to fall to winter in reading, we are at 38%. Math went from 14, 19 to 24%. Currently, our 9th graders, 79.8% of our 9th graders are on track. And Battle Creek Central High School has a graduation rate of 83.55, but that number will increase as of the news that was released this week. Various intentional actions were taken. I thought Principal Gillen was behind me. I was going to have him come do this slide.
Like I'm out.
Right. But very intentional coaching and training with essential standards. One of the things we wanted to get away from was what is the value of a grade? Is it compliance? Did I just turn in the assignments? Is it teacher preference? But it's really about standards-based. Did they show proficiency on the standard? And so we're shifting to standards-based grading, but that took a lot of muscle to get people out of their routines of their level of grading. But one thing that we did highlight for ELA for the high school and across the system, but really at the high school, was writing. Because we knew from our survey data from our Bearcat Advantage students, that was one of the pieces that they struggled with when they went to post-secondary education, was the writing component. So we took that back to our senior English teachers first, and then spread throughout the system to say we gotta scale up our writing demands because our babies are struggling. And writing is connected to proficiency in reading. So you're a great writer, you'll be a comprehensive reader. PLCs was another piece of work that we've done here. And as you can hear, there's continuity. So there's not all these different ideas. There were a couple of broad or specific ideas that we wanted to master in these first 2 cycles to see if we can build the infrastructure for acceleration. Bi-weekly data conferences as well as our essential standards work that I spoke of before. And so you will see that 170 ninth graders are on track. Well, that translates to the percentages that you saw before. But the below is the number of off-track students. And here's what's so special about that number. We know who the kids are. So it's not that it's just an ambiguous percentage or number, but these students have plans to get them to graduation. So you can see that there's intentional catch-up plans being created, and that number is decreasing month over time.
So how does a catch-up plan, how does WK factor into the catch-up plan? Is that anything related to it?
Not in Central, they have a different piece of it, but they do have individualized plans, graduation plans. And so again, this slide just shows that apples to apples, if you look at winter to winter, we tested the same amount of students, and you can see the increase in proficiency. If you look at the winter in the middle, we only tested a fraction of that number of students. And so if you look at 15 to 38, that's a true indication of the same amount of students tested. 9 to 24. And then here's WK Prep. What's exciting about WK Prep is with the graduation plans and the intentional plans for the students there, we're starting to see a huge uptick of intentionality around the credits attained. And so our goal, or the Michigan average goal, is 42% graduation rates for alternative ed programs, and we are unofficially on track to graduate 50% of our four-year students. What you will also see is that we have a lot of 5- and 6-year students that don't factor into that number, but we still want to offer them a chance of success. And so what we also are doing now is looking at, based on our midpoint, are they being successful? And if not, would adult education be a better factor or venue for them? That's by choice, not by force, but just wanting to make sure that they have options for completing and earning a diploma. So adult practices. One thing I know is at every level, you have to inspect what the adults are doing in order to look at if achievement is going to happen. And so through our walkthroughs, this is the data that we have come up with midpoint. When we started, engagement was at 46%, and now it's at 71%, which is, and again, these walkthroughs are being held by instructional coaches and principals, so they're going in and looking for the metric that we have district-wide for what student engagement looks like. 80% or higher of students engaged, not just on task, not just compliant, but actually engaging with the academic lesson that's being taught. So we went from 46 to 71%, and then grade level work, student work on grade level, which was 70% to 86%. We then saw an uptick of grade level instruction, and so where we were going into classrooms and seeing a lot of instruction happening below grade level. It wasn't aligned to the unit that should have been taught. It wasn't aligned to even what the grade level expectations were. It was being modified to meet the instructional level of some students, which then means none of our kids were going to be able to score at grade level. So one of our focus areas was to ensure that grade level instruction was happening, and you support the other students with grade level instruction, reteaching, and the critical foundational gaps of Tier 3.
So is that 96, I'm sorry, is that 96% or 69? It's 69 in the middle.
It's 96.
Okay.
The numbers were transposed in the earlier version that you had.
What kind of supports are being put in for those kids that do need that lower remedial work or whatever we call it?
So that would be our Tier 3 supports, and so what that would look like is when we have title tutors, literacy tutors, they would get additional teaching on the specific skills that they're missing. They would also still get the Tier 1 grade level content in addition to being retaught and reassessed.
I guess what I'm curious, like, what does it look like? Are they like being taken aside, pulled out? Is it additional after school homework? How are they getting the extra work?
So our tier system is being built throughout the school day. There are opportunities for additional supports through B3, Saturday school, and extended learning. However, for the intervention to be viable, it has to be offered to all kids during a regular school day. So there may be some push-in supports where title tutors are helping to facilitate groups along with the teachers. So you may see small groups in classrooms, center rotations. You may also see some pull-outs depending on what the structure of the classroom is during that time. So the patterns that we see across the system, this is what I really want to anchor this slide on, is you see evidence of strong performers in ELA and math, but you also notice that there's some inequities in our system. And so what I am charging my team with is ensuring that we scale down, double down, and target all schools to ensure that they meet the particular grade level data mark for the end of the year. And so I want to just read some of my reflections. So the implementation strength is increasing across the system, and what we're seeing is some progress. While students' performance is improving in some areas, several schools are meeting and exceeding goals that are benchmark mid-year markings, but others are not, and yet demonstrating the level of impact that is required. So to accelerate progress and ensure district-wide consistency, we must intensify support, monitor target schools that are not yet meeting the established goals. So where we can celebrate some of the things that Battle Creek Central is doing with increasing on track for graduation, increasing the graduation rate, celebrating some of our schools hitting the end of year goals already, that is not enough. And so we have to get to a predictable learning environment that means all success and all achievement for all students. And that's what Cycle 3 is going to be about.
So one thing we noticed with a lot of the presentations is that competition is what drives a lot, especially like the Math Science Center. Is there a way that we as a board can support some sort of competition and give some rewards, whether it be a pizza party or something that we can sign off on funding for to help incentivize these when people hit these goals or schools hit this goal, or do something to help add encouragement to this? I know you don't have an answer right this second because I'm just throwing it out there, but could you think about that and then come with some thoughts about how we could support, at least from that standpoint? And Dr. J got to figure out how we get the money to how we allocate. Do what I just suggested.
That's why I'm like not even anything else. I'm doing anything else.
Prepaid.
I need it in the budget. Crimson up.
Yes, he did.
You really gonna get it?
Yes, he did.
You've given me something to think about, Trustee Perry. Thank you. Okay, next person.
Thank you.
So in our strategic plan, there are district foundations so that the other departments are anchored to ensure that Dr. Harvey can be successful in her work. And so those other departments will be presenting next.
Press down on it.
Chair.
You have to warn everybody that the mid-year and the end-of-year is the longest meeting.
Y'all laughed at me.
Karma.
It's that chair. Good evening, board.
Hello.
This is our HR department overview, and it serves as our mid-year progress report for human resources. And I serve as the Senior Executive Director of HR and Labor Relations. We have Robin Byer, who serves as our HR manager. Doris Mann is our Human Resource Coordinator, and Alexis Small is our Talent Acquisition Manager. And so our department's focus centers on attracting top talent, employing a host of strategic recruitment strategies and efforts, along with improving employee onboarding and mentoring, and also workplace wellness strategies. All right, presently we have 23 vacancies in the district, and those vacancies are broken up as follows. We have 11 special education vacancies, 11 general education vacancies, and we do have 1 adult education vacancy for a total of 23 vacancies. The department has done an effective job of recruiting talent to the district through our college career fair work and our relationships with our area universities. However, and hopefully we'll get points for being honest. Honesty.
I love it.
You do, keep loving it. However, our area of opportunity is retaining the staff that we recruit. And so let's talk a little bit regarding that. All right, relative to retention, it was our goal to decrease the turnover rate from 11% to 8% by June of 2026. Based on this year's retention data, we are going in the opposite direction in this particular area. So you may ask the question is, what is the plan to address the exodus? We kind of dig a little deeper in regard to that. A small percentage of those are retirements, so that's really, really small. But the overwhelming majority of those resignations are resignations, and everybody's not cut out for urban education. And so we can talk a little bit more in regard to that piece. And so I'm going to take a little bit, I'm going to be part of the blame in that regard, because if my little Chelsea's in a room that I go in and observe, and I wouldn't put my child in that particular room, you really need to be asking the question, is this individual really cut out for being in the classroom? And so we work really close with the collective bargaining, because principals will say, Dr. Henry, I've tried, I've done the collaborative coaching cycle, I've worked with this individual, and I feel like I'm putting money in a bag with a hole in it. And so you just don't go by that principal's assessment. I will take the union and we'll do a walkthrough. And we did a walkthrough last week. And yes. And so when the district, when the collective bargaining unit says, you know how the doctor said, shake his head. So when you got the district, you got the principal shaking his head, you got HR saying this is not working, and then the collective bargaining unit says this is not working, then we have to do what we have to do. So let's talk about how we're going to address the exodus. So as a department, we are modifying the teacher mentoring program and the handbook in order to provide a hands-on, more structured approach to supporting our new hires who elect to work in this urban environment. One aspect of the revision is HR will be assigning mentors and doing ongoing mentoring to determine the effectiveness of the mentoring model in the district. Another aspect will be, one aspect is to support that focuses on the 7 norms of collaborative work. And those norms are pausing, providing data, paraphrasing, putting ideas on the table, posing questions, paying attention to self and others, and presuming positive intentions. In addition, our department will work with new teachers in the area of developing greater relationship with students and their families in an effort to address that disconnect that we may be observing.
So with that, it sounds like you're describing part of an onboarding plan. So is that what you're referring to when new teachers start? That's a part of their onboarding, or is this?
That'll be part of the onboarding and mentoring, onboarding them effectively, but then also providing, not just giving them the keys and talk, we'll see like 2 or 3, but providing that ongoing support.
Okay.
And so, as we work to retain staff, there still is a need for aggressive recruitment strategies. So based on what I've said, that sounds good, but we got to dig a little deeper. So our goal is to increase the district's candidate pool. So these are the steps that we're going to take in increasing the candidate pool. Identifying student teachers, we've already contacted Grand Valley State University and Western in regard to their interns, and it's our goal to place at least 6 interns in our district in the next cycle. Employing our grow your own candidates, we have approximately 6 scheduled to complete the program in 2026. And so as they complete, we will be hiring those individuals. HR has developed a paraprofessional pipeline, teacher pipeline with Talent Together. We have 2 employees that entered the program last week. I'm very pleased to share this piece relative to the present. HR will work with our school principals and International Alliance Group in interviewing certified teacher candidates. At this time, there are over 2,000. I'll let that marinate. I just got this news today. There are over 2,000 certified candidates in the AIG pool that our HR and principals will be screening next week. So next week, next Thursday, March the 5th at 12 noon, IAG will be conducting a virtual training session with our principals that have those vacancies right now. And that session will focus on how to effectively navigate the Power School platform in getting those principals to interview those candidates in an effort to aggressively fill our vacancies that we have at the present time. At this time, we have one international teacher. We kind of tried her out. She's really doing a phenomenal job at Fremont. And so our goal is to hire several just like her. So in closing, we believe the aggressive implementation of these and other interventions will assist our department in meeting our recruitment and retention goals. And for this, I thank you, and any questions that you have.
So, yes, you get points for being honest. Because, you know, it really is just, it's about data. Like, I'm just more about learning and being good than looking good. So I appreciate the honesty for sure. A couple questions. So you're already exploring like the why with the retention. It sounds like you're getting some good information about that. And I'm wondering if it's really, if we're seeing a relationship to school, if there's any particular school or anything that we do notice retention is tougher.
Yes, Springfield is one of our high flyers. So I have the data in regard to Springfield is one of our high flyers, along with I think Verona was another one of our high flyers.
Okay.
But in some of that is new leadership coming in and having expectations and holding people accountable. And
that's good, right? So, and then the other question I have is, do we have like a competency-based selection process, and in that, does it include education in an urban environment and what that means and looks like? So that's one question. And then have we ever considered salary by complexity of the job? So like in medicine, you get paid more if the complexity of your work, like a neurosurgeon is not going to get paid the same as a therapist, right?
Primary care physician.
Right, because the complexity of your work is a little more complicated, and it also helps to recruit top talent when you see it that way.
I
So
think we do that with special education because they get an additional stipend and the like because of the complexity of their work. But I must be perfectly honest with you, Battle Creek gives a gracious plenty relative to all of the perks that we give with the housing allowance.
Right, but it's the same, right? So if you teach at Northwestern or Springfield, it's the same as if you teach at Valley.
So from a collective bargaining standpoint, you're getting in some waters.
Yeah.
I like Herb, and he has this excellent resume, and I'll give him X, but Cheeks might not have that, and that kind of falls into another, giving me a headache.
I'm wondering though, is it done somewhere in any district?
So you're asking, like, is there ability to tier certain roles across the board collectively?
And you quantify the complexity, so it's clear and transparent.
If the union agrees in the complexity, right? Like, and so that has been very difficult to get someone to say my job is harder than your job,
Right.
because they'll all figure out. So I'll leave it at that. However, I will say that if a school is identified as a priority school in the past, it has been legislated that those who are working in a priority school get money that is state provided. So that is one way.
Okay.
But from a general fund standpoint, it's collectively negotiated.
Absolutely. And in some districts too, I had to think about it a little bit. In some turnaround schools, in some districts, going into those particular schools, those individuals would get paid more going into those environments in some districts.
So it's not based on like certifications, you're talking about based on like an actual location or building?
And also if they were highly effective and the like, going into, trying to get some of them out of the boutique schools, going more into the hood.
I have a question. Were you done? No, I didn't want to interrupt you. I have a question about the International Alliance piece. Do you have learnings, or are you all getting information from her experience as we look to add more instructors and?
Absolutely, because Alexis goes in and she meets with all of our new teachers in regard to just assessing where they are with our check-ins and the like, and also meeting with building leadership. And so all of those teachers already have experience, so they're not brand new. They've had at least 2 or 3 years of experience prior to, so that pool is a richer pool. And I must say, I'm going to pause and say, we have that one particular international teacher, and we haven't explored getting more, because with that comes a fee. But since Dr. Jeff has been here, he has figured out a way to defray the cost of the fee, where we can get them in a more cheaper rate, if you will. And so kudos to Dr. Jeff. We couldn't see that until he got here.
Yeah, I was just curious, like, if there's, because I know like cultural competencies and cultural shift, that's a big change, especially for like the teacher at Fremont. I think she navigated it well, but they're not without growing pains. So if we're going to do that, I don't know if that program offers assistance with that or whatever.
Absolutely it does.
To help
Yes, ma'am.
make that transition better for the teacher. And then I have another question about, there were 3 points at the beginning, and one of them was workplace wellness. So are there any updates on that, or did I miss them on the slide?
I know, Dr. Johnson, you conducted a session earlier, and I think Alexis has some already planned in regard to addressing workplace wellness. So we'll be exploring and digging deeper relative to how we can do more in that particular area. That's one of our goals for this next cycle.
I will add on your behalf, because it's not in the slides, that you do have a Thrive 365 program that's running to address workplace wellness, and so part of that has been different sessions based on what people say they need in order to feel good about it. And so that's been really a positive turnout and reception around that.
It's the same thing though with students, right? When we talk about they gotta want to come to school, we also have a labor market where they gotta want to come to work. So focusing on that environment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Operations.
All right. I know, it's a tough act to follow, man. Dr. J, got some more money too? No. You good? All out. No money. No money. No money. I always run out here, but you know what? I'm spending bond money. That's good. I don't need you. Bond money. All right. Operations overview. This is the team that really does the work for the district. As you guys know, we got average age of our buildings are 75 years. So I have to give kudos to Josh and everyone that's up there that keeps our buildings together and that continues to work with everything that we do here. So that's pretty much what the overview for facilities. And again, we're in our contract for our custodial, so say some prayers there so we can get a good organization come in and step in for us. Next thing here is that improving the safety and security of the district. Again, the one big thing here is thanks to the bond money, we're able to get all these that are moving along the way. So again, highlighting Northwestern, which is where we started, with the cameras being in and the vape detection, we're about 80% there of the cameras installed, 100% of vape sensors installed. Of course, all of our secondary schools and high schools have weapon detection systems. Central High School is 24% complete, but just to get in perspective, there are over 280 cameras in the high school. Yeah, wow. 280 cameras in the high school.
Total or 24% is 280?
280 total. So some are getting, and again, we're getting replaced. So they're going to get demoed or they're going to get replaced. But we have 280 cameras there. Again, we're also doing the vape detection as well to be installed. The challenge will be there is just the integration of the system. Because again, all it has to be linked in there. And what our next step is talking about the training that's going to go on. So while all the vape systems are in Northwestern, then we can find out where the holes are, where the challenges are. So when they come online at the high school and then in Springfield, at the high flyers, we will have all those ready to help train everybody for that as well. Talk about the staff training going on. And again, the cross-team coordination is really good. So again, I do have a great team. I work with Josh, Mitch, myself. We call ourselves a triad because we're all working together to make sure that everything works together and implements well. We just want to get a fully integrated system. It's been lacking here in the district. You guys know that.
So this is something I'm really happy that we can hang our hat on now and say, Battle Creek Public Schools has all of this and is willing to implement it and use it in the right way. Okay. Any questions? Thank you. All right.
Appreciate your voice. Good afternoon.
Evening.
Yeah, my department overview is just me. Yeah, there's no. I was gonna put a picture of me with thumbs up, but it's a serious night. It's a serious night.
Communication is vertically and horizontally aligned.
It's more horizontal than vertical. Listen. So I just want to share a couple quick updates, priorities that I will tell. Like I told Cabinet, for me the social media data doesn't mean much because it's just numbers and it doesn't affect how many kids are in school, but I still wanted to show it because it's pretty cool. So just this cycle alone, so from the beginning of the school year to now, we have 1.4 million views in our social media, 195,000 unique viewers, so like individual users that are watching it. The reason why it's important for you guys is we have a high volume, so we have a lot of eyeballs looking at what we're doing, right? And so for me, the challenge is how do we use it, right? How do we tell the story? Because clearly we have the eyes. So the main thing with the eyes is strengthening my media relationship. So that's something that I began working on last cycle, is being more proactive with media, right? So not just wait until something bad happens and now I got to answer and give statements. It's about how do I proactively reach out to these journalists, feed them stories, and actually build relationships. So to give an example, so one public correction through the direct outreach, right? So there was a story that came out that said there was an individual that still worked in our school. So through my relationships, I was able to call them, say this is not the case. And actually the article actually did change, which it's a small thing, but I do count it as a celebration. And it's been great. So I think for me, the main thing moving forward is what kind of stories am I feeding, right? So something that I'm thinking about and with conversation with Dr. Carter is how do we tell the academic success stories, right? It's not about, yes, it's good to tell about the services. Yes, it's good, to tell us stuff the bus and stuff the bag. But how do we sell our school as a school that it's viable for everyone? That's the spirit of public schools, at least in this country. That's something that I love. So kind of that's the biggest part of the challenge. Another part that to me is the most important part of my job right now is getting the website to actually work and to actually be the source of all truth, right? So I think there's a lot of confusion when we send out announcements, and that's because I think the website is not as reliable as it should be, right? So we conducted an audit. 242 pages long is the audit with results, and that's just for usability and user experience. The beauty of it is, at least like now for the first time since the website launch, we have that data and I can actually begin working. So to share with you guys, as I'm working this week on my cycle 3 plan, the main priority is going to be for phase 1 is the mobile usability, because most of our users are on mobile. So if you go try to access our website on mobile, it's terrible. The experience is really, really bad. And so it's fixing that, and then as a result of that is then making the enrollment pathway like 3 clicks max. So in 3 clicks, you should be able to enroll your kid. Breaking that barrier, I think, can lead to better attendance, better enrollment to our schools.
Good question.
Yes, ma'am.
So it sounds like a lot of work needs to happen with the website. Is there an option to just create a new one that in the background that will get launched?
So I'll say this. Yes, so we can explore that route. The website is bad, but it's not that bad, and our foundation is really strong. What I did look into is, instead of just taking this whole work on my own, because it's just not doable for me, is I'm looking to expand my partnership with SunnyBite. I presented to you guys about them a little bit ago. And so I actually met with them on Friday, and yeah, so I want to take the work off of not all of it, but a big portion of it, because it's impossible. But starting from new would probably cost us around like $250,000. So it's just not worth it, given the fact that our website has a good foundation. We just need to develop it and get it to a space where it's like I think I've talked to you guys before about ADA. That's like super rampant in our, there's a lot of ADA problems in our website. So fixing that user experience. but there's a good foundation. So I wouldn't, unless you want to give me $250,000.
I don't have that for you, but.
Well, and the inside, the reason his entire team was laughing is because we all had that same question.
Okay.
And he was trying to convince us, no, I can do it. So we're gonna lean on his expertise, but we all thought maybe just start over.
And I'll say like so all the change, so mobile experience and enrollment pathway should be done within the next 90 days. So then during the summer, we'll address, like I know there's a little bit of a concern on a staff directory, so I am working on that. I know that's been a long time coming. It's coming, I promise. Yes.
What are the other priorities though? Like, do you have a priority list? Because like one thing I think about is like the separate athletic website is wonky. Like those type of things. So
yeah, and I don't control that. Yeah, I actually don't control the athletic website. I actually just met with Coach Granger last week, and so we are going to do more with that website. He gave me access to like edit and actually like build it up a little bit more. But even within our website, getting to that website is kind of hard.
But can we integrate it into this one? Is what I'm saying. Like it's weird to me that we would have a separate website.
I don't know.
Athletics. So
I don't know, but I'll look into that. I'm not sure though. But yes, I agree with you. It would be really nice. But it's like similar to, I don't know if you've ever tried to go to the OEC website on our website. It does the same thing. It basically takes you to a separate website, which is confusing. So let me explore some options, because even if it's not the full thing, maybe there are some options where maybe there's a calendar, right? And so at least you know the dates that are coming up. Maybe there's an announcement board that we can put up. So it might not be the full usability of the other website, but something can happen for sure. And then I don't know if you guys are interested. I can share with you guys the full audit on UX UI, so you guys can take a look at that. It's a lot.
Great.
Okay, I will send that to you guys tonight. So this is a little bit of my timeline. It changed a little bit since I made this presentation to now, just with my cycle adjustment. So I'm gonna skip by it. Something that's actually really, really exciting. I'm really excited about. I talked to you guys last time I was up here. It's about our family communications and moving to a platform that it's called Parent Square. So basically it allows, the main thing I'm excited about is the two-way communication for teacher, principals, with families. The other thing I'm really excited about is what Dr. Perry has asked for a long, long time, of having the same exact experience in every school you go to. So you'll be able to find everything in the same place no matter what school your child goes to, right? Obviously I still want to allow creativity for buildings and allow them to be themselves, but it's just that consistent experience across every school. And so that's the superintendent recommendation, is getting to Dr. Carter's desk this week, and we should be able to start implementing for next school year. So I just wanted to share a quick update.
All of those things are the calendar, the experience, like.
And there's so much more. Like we were looking at, there's an added feature where we can do attendance, specific campaigns and attendance tracking directly through there, just to add to all the data that we have through Schoolytics. So it's really great. So that's all. Yes, go ahead.
Speaking of social media, I've noticed social media for different buildings is wildly inconsistent.
So that's, I don't know if I want to share this.
Is there a plan to unify messaging? Because some have buildings, some have friends of. I don't know if those are official or not. I don't know who runs them. Sometimes they post things that aren't appropriate on those. Like, is there a plan to maybe rein some of this in, or take control, or I don't know.
Two things on that. So we don't have a communication protocol. We've never had one, and that's a big part of why that's happening, right? So I'm working on creating a communications protocol for every single building where again, I still want to give them some flexibility so they can be creative. But to your point, yes, absolutely, there needs to be a comms protocol. And something I wasn't ready to announce, but I can share with you guys is I am planning on getting rid of all the individual Facebook pages. So then we will only have the district page, and then because parents through this platform, the schools won't lose out on being able to share their pictures, their comments, their information with their parents, but it'll be a close community versus you have this wide open social media. So it's a little bit scary, and I know a lot of people are going to give me some pushback. I just think it's the right decision to move to a close ecosystem for buildings, and then we just have the district page.
That answers my question, because there's just such a variety.
It is. There is, and there's a variety in the size. So Dr. Carter will know, I get perfection paralysis, and so sometimes like when I see flyers that I don't like, presentations that I don't like, that's like my weird pet peeve. And so I kind of like go like that when I look, and I appreciate the work that everyone does. I really don't want to diminish that, because honestly, that's another part of how does communication help build capacity for staff so they can build better content, right? So there's a whole lot of questions to that. But to answer your question, yes, we're consolidating social media. So yeah, those are not gonna exist anymore. And it also poses a risk because we don't even own all the social media. So the high school, we don't own it. So if I want to make a change or if I die, good luck.
That was extreme. You can't get a new job.
Yeah.
We say hit the lottery.
That was part of my question was, I don't always know what's official. I'm on the board, okay, and I don't know which pages are official, pages aren't official sometimes. You know what I mean? Like I see ones that are shared, friends of yada yada or whatever. I'm like, is this official? I don't know. I don't know. Like
to add to your thing, and this I cannot control this one, but even athletics has a billion different pages. I can't control that one.
And there's some things that I control, but if there are official ones made, then we know. Okay, if there's an official one, the unofficial ones die down usually.
I hear you. I share your concern. Like this is something that honestly didn't make my radar until like December. There was an incident that occurred at one of our buildings, and it kind of it made me go. I was freaking out, to say the least. And so that kind of prompted me start to think on how can I make it easier for them, easier for us, and easier for our parents, right? Because that's the other part. Snow days, right? That was a huge thing this last go around of like what information do I trust? Right? And so I think that's just confusing. And I think part of it is just the consistency, like you said.
Definitely not ChatGPT.
don't trust Google AI, but yeah. No, but yes, absolutely, we're looking at that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions related to that or anything else?
The social media piece makes sense. At first I reacted a little bit, but I actually personally hate all the Facebook because it's another communication channel where I'm like, how the heck am I getting this information? So it does make sense to like say this is the source of updates, announcements using this app. Here's the official district page. So
yeah, and
as I marinate on it, that I like that.
Yeah, and with Parent Square, like it's an app, but it's also web accessible. So if people don't have access to a smartphone, which is rare, but still could happen, you can still access through web, and we won't lose any of the usability with robocall, text, or email. So that will stay the same. It's just added benefit. So I think next time I talk to you guys, I will give you guys a full demo on Parent Square to kind of also appease some of this conversation with the social media consolidation and give you guys a little bit more of a concrete plan as well. So.
And then another thought, so Skyward has an app and that has announcement. I don't think it gets used a whole lot, but are you clarifying like how that'll be utilized in connection with Parent Square too, or can you consider?
So the thing about Skyward that I don't think Parent Square can do is like you can check like grades in Skyward, which you cannot with Parent Square, but Skyward feeds into Parent Square. Yes, Dr. Johnson.
No, go ahead.
No, that's all I have. But no, I don't have a plan specifically for Skyward because, in honesty, I don't use Skyward at all.
And I wasn't saying get rid of it, but like just have the communication protocols around.
Yeah, so it's like
Skyward
clear.
where you check in grades and where is where these announcements happen or something like that. That was with that comment. I didn't say that, but that's what I'm looking for.
Even with academics, like, so I'm an elementary school student. I've never been on Skyward because all the teachers use a different app every grade. So I don't know if, so what, I've never been on Skyward. I'll just say, I don't know. So even like systemizing.
Middle school.
What'd you say?
I said you will once he hit middle school. That's when I started using it.
So, but every class he's been in has used a different app to keep us updated as well. So I don't know if there's one enterprise level.
Parent Square. That'll be Parent Square. So like,
Yeah, but
that will Parent Square. So they, okay.
And I will check on the grades because this is something that they may have that I just have not explored and seeing. Again, if we can, my goal with Parent Square is to have everything in one place, right?
Yes.
So if you're a parent and you have 3 kids, you can go to your app, select the kid that you want to see that at that time, and everything should be present. So I will look into that grades feature, see if they have something.
So to your point, an example is, and I know that this is kind of what you're talking about, is some teachers will use an app called Remind.
And
Some
there's another
teachers are
one.
using
Class Dojo.
Class Dojo. So everybody to communicate with families will be told you have to use Parent Square.
I like it.
And so it doesn't matter, again, it goes back to consistency.
Parents were required remind. So that's just how the big fish gobble up the smaller ones.
And the ways to access those apps will be disseminated to everyone.
Yes, and so what we talked about, which I've learned by going to some of the PTA meetings, is that we have to educate families on the communication tools and make sure that they know that they're not just how to use them, but that they're available. And so that's something that we'll integrate into this as well.
And so naturally also when we move to Parent Square, we will have lengthy campaigns before the school year ends. So we start getting parents signed up and accustomed to the system before the next school year starts. So that by the time the next school year starts, 100% of our parents have access to Parent Square. That's the goal. So that's why I want to get this moving as soon as possible, so we can get planning and we can get telling our parents this is happening and educate them a little bit more. So, any other questions?
No.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was the end.
One last that just came out that we are
At the
proud
very
to
end.
present is here you go. Public graduation data. Battle Creek Central improved their graduation rate from 77.35 to 84.36.
Beating state average.
Wow. That is good.
Hayes graduation rate has increased from 17% to 33.3%. And our overall graduation rate has increased by double digits as well. So we are trending in the right direction, and this was released on Friday.
So this isn't in our packet. I didn't see
This is
it.
now we have to add this today because we got the information.
Oh,
like
but
after
you
we
do
had
some
already.
kind of social media blast. Please.
Everybody's Facebook.
We're gonna put it on Facebook. Nosy ass. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I told them it was like Battle Creek Central beat state average in terms of graduation rate, made some tremendous growth. But I think we also have to acknowledge that WK Prep has made some growth and they're trending up. So just overall increases.
Clarify that the two numbers don't get averaged together.
Correct. That's why you see them separate.
This is so exciting. And I do want to note that like we've seen improvements in all of the presentations from attendance and behaviors to academics, and that's worth celebrating. So like, that's exciting. I just thought we don't ever talk about adult education. Is there a reason we don't?
I just never heard asked, and that's probably gonna be like, so we can add in adult education. I mean, what metrics? We don't really track. It's more of a service that we provide to the community.
Okay.
You can think about it in a different way. Just whatever questions you have.
Well, just some basic data to start with.
Like, what are we doing?
How many people are there? Do we have teachers? Are they?
Perfect. A program overview.
Go to a graduation twice a year so we know it's doing
Right.
Right.
That's a very good point. So thank you for that, and we will add that into providing an overview at one of our work sessions. So we will continue. We are done now. Every summit, every dream, every day. Right.
Okay, any public comments? Okay. Moving on to new business. I will entertain a motion.
Should I, were you about to go? Go ahead.
President Fulbright, I would like to nominate Mr. Charlie Fulbright to the MSASB as our district nominee.
Support.
It's been moved by Trustee Grajek, supported by Trustee Perry. Any discussion?
I was about to say something.
Go ahead.
I would say that you were in that role as, I don't remember the title, you're interim appointed and did a great job there. So that's why I support you continuing on to be our nominee, and I look forward to the great work you'll continue to do on the state board.
Provided excellent leadership for us here at our district level, and just really appreciate you for that. And again, great things are happening, and look forward to more.
Can we do a roll call vote, please?
McLean, absent. Dr. Nicole Perry.
Yes. Yes, support.
Kate Flores, absent. Nathan Graycheck. Dr. Alicia Johnson.
Yes.
Ryan Hoagland Jackson.
Yes.
Abstain. Okay. Motion passes. Thank you for your support. Moving on to B, I will entertain a motion for the star recommendation Northwestern.
President Fulbright.
Yes, Trustee Perry.
I move that we allocate the amount not to exceed $40,135 for star recommendations and support with Northwestern and Northwestern Arts School, coming from the funding source of 31 AA mental health grant.
It's been moved by Trustee Perry, supported by Trustee Hoagland Jackson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. I will entertain a motion to move into closed session.
Fulbright.
Yes, Trustee Johnson.
I move to go into closed session to discuss the superintendent evaluation.
Support. It's been moved by Trustee Johnson, supported by Trustee Grayjack. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Motion passes. We are now in closed session. So we're gonna take a break for, yeah.
I don't want to put it in there. I want to go from there. I'm just worried that.
Hold it.
Man, starving.
I got a hunger headache. I was like, oh.
See, I was out of water. Keep on.
We're back. I will entertain a motion to reconvene into open session.
President Fulbright?
Yes, Trustee Grujek?
Move that we reconvene into open session.
Any support? Moved by Trustee Grujek, supported by Trustee Hoagland Jackson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. All opposed say no. Motion passes. So before we go into superintendent comments, we did have our mid-year evaluation with Superintendent Dr. Carter. And the goals are going to stay the same: positive school experience, building foundations, and achieving excellence, grade level mastery for all, and career, college, and community readiness. We did get the information with the mid-year presentation earlier today in open session. So based on what we learned from that, we're gonna stick with these goals and create a plan that addresses where we have not met the goals to make sure we meet them by end of year. And yeah, okay. So superintendent comments.
Yeah, so first, congratulations to Board President Charlie Fulbright on earning the Finance Certification Specialty and his Leadership Certification. Congratulations as well to Dr. Johnson for earning the Level 1 Certified Board Member Award and the Level 2 Award of Merit. I am so grateful to work for a board that continues to engage in ongoing learning so that we can be the best for the community that we serve. So thank you for that. Congratulations to the teams that competed in the NAACP Quiz Bowl on Saturday at Battle Creek Central High School. Unfortunately, I had conflicts, but I heard a lot of great things happening there. This is a quick heads up that the district administration building will be fully closed on February 27th for our emergency and safety training. Lastly, we want to thank Ryan Hoagland Jackson for his service on the Battle Creek Public Schools Board of Education. While it is bittersweet to see him step down as he moves out of Battle Creek, we are grateful for the time, care, and leadership he brought to serving the children and families of our community. So, deepest gratitude. Thank you. We wish you well.
Thank you. Board member comments. Do I go first?
Yeah, I'll just go. I don't know if I was supposed to like you took some of my thunder, but that's okay. Yeah, so it was very bittersweet. This will be my last meeting here. I have enjoyed the last 13 months being on this board, learning and growing. I would say definitely a highlight was being able to be our delegate at the MASB conference and getting to stand up and speak in support of all students here across the state, across the country that have ever been othered. So yeah, I just really appreciated that opportunity, and thank you all for everything this last year. I didn't really prepare anything super extravagant.
Thanks for your service.
Any other board member comments?
I'll just say, well, officially, I thank you, Trustee Hoagland Jackson, for your service, and that means we do have another open seat. Last time we had a lot of really, really great candidates, and it was like the hardest choice ever, so hopefully we have another round like that. I'm looking forward to anyone in the community who is interested in serving. Please get your information out to us in the next couple weeks here.
Go ahead.
I attended the Quiz Bowl this weekend, so it was a great event. Fremont had a bunch of teams. Our high school team won, and I don't know what the results were of the other ones because I left after Zoe's team was knocked out. But Fremont has done a good job of making sure they have multiple teams that hold up in that event and are very enthusiastic, and teachers come out and support, and it's very nice. So that level of energy and enthusiasm is great to see, especially when it's in our district, in our building. Thank you for your service, Trustee Holcomb Jackson. It was great to have you on board and contributing to us, and definitely wish you all the best as you move to warmer weather. And appreciate your time that you had on this board. And then the last piece I'll add is was very excited to see the double award winner of the President's Coin as well as our staff recognition. That is actually Zoe's teacher, and Zoe absolutely loves her, and Titus had her as well. So it was well earned by Miss Malone to get that. Same for Principal Gillen, and also Miss Taylor, who runs the office. So congrats to all of those winners, as well as our student athletes. And seeing 2 female wrestlers, that's pretty amazing. The opportunities that are starting to open up. I think I even saw that there's flag football for girls now, and I'm just like, where was that when I was in high school? Get some aggression out. So it's just great to see the different evolution and opportunities that our district is providing.
I shared a couple of mine earlier in the meeting. Just really grateful for the leadership team here and to see progress. And I love that we're still able to be honest and say, and we're not where we want to be, right? So that shows how much care and compassion we have for our students and families, that we want to do better. And it's also great to see progress. And then it has been a pleasure being on the board with you. And I hope things go well, and that, we're kind of jealous. You're going to be somewhere warmer. But no, thank you for your time and the ability to work together. And then some people don't know, Keshana Taylor is my sister. So it was nice to see her awarded. She really is amazing. When my son went to Fremont, and there was no special treatment. She really was great, right? Like, just really supported him and his needs. And I was struggling with the decision that would be best for him. And, she supported what was in the best interest of him, aside from how I felt. And I really did appreciate that. So I love the awards and the recognition. Thank you.
So I will also echo, Ryan, it's been a pleasure being on this board with you. I think my favorite moment is when you were the delegate and you stood up for our students and the state, and you were new, you were the first time there, and it was great to see you dive right in and support all of us here in Battle Creek and the state. So I really appreciate you. And you've only been on less than 2 years, so I wish you would stay 4 more years, but I understand. I also want to reiterate that March 9th is the deadline, 3 p.m. to get your letter of interest and resume to COETA. After 3 p.m., we're cutting it off, and then we will read at that meeting, at our work session, who the nominations are, and then at the March 23rd is when we'll do open interviews and appointments at that meeting. So check our socials for more info coming soon. And anything else by anybody? Thank you for your service, Ryan. Great things are happening in Battle Creek Public Schools. Meeting adjourned.